Episode number 55 of Making the Case. Is there a such thing as an alpha woman? Stay tuned. You'll find out. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's your host, the one and only Dr. Jacob Isom, educator, speaker, entrepreneur, father, content creator, a little bit of everything. All right. Back at you with another episode of Making the Case. We're on episode number 55. Um, Thank you to all my supporters and all my people that rock with me, all my subscribers. But there is a lot of you that's checking out the video that's not subscribed. So make sure you go and hit that button, man. And while you're at it, hit the like button. Okay. Give me an algorithm. All right. Hey, as you can see, your boy got the turtleneck on. It's a little cold where I'm at. I'm pretty sure most of you have some cold weather. Some of you are basking in the sun. Whatever. Okay. But I do want to say this. Make sure, because there's a lot of states that's getting hit with this blizzard. But then, of course, what's going on in California right now with the fires, man, it's just so make sure y'all check up on y'all family members, man, and stay in the house, stay where it's safe. Get somewhere where out the danger, man. So our safety as people is the number one priority. All right. But of course we have the show to do. Episode number 55. Is there a such thing as an alpha woman? But before we get into it, I got to go over our two channel norms. One, we attack points and not people. And two, we don't do all that cussing derogatory stuff. We're professional over here, as you can see, right? Now, so let's get into my opening statement. Is there a such thing as an alpha woman? No. Show over. Kidding. Okay. Now, so let me tell you why I say no. Now I'm going to let the evidence do the talking for me, but of course, let me give you kind of a preview before we really get into the evidence. So I believe a lot of time when we say alpha woman, what we're really addressing is a masculine woman. Now, when we think of the term alpha man, right? A lot of times we live in this society where we want to equalize everything. So we want a term that matches. So we start using the term alpha woman as a term to denote women who exhibit masculine traits. Let's just call a spade, right? So I find it funny that when it comes to toxic masculinity, we don't have a term called toxic femininity. Okay. Right. But of course, they want to have a term called alpha female. Okay. Because they think that that's something that is actually a good thing. Well, ladies, unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that's not a good thing. Men do not want an alpha woman. And let's just say the men that you want don't want an alpha woman. Okay. Because you don't care about the betas, maybe the sigmas. Most women would like an alpha male. Well, if you say alpha male and alpha female, don't you think they would exhibit the same characteristic? And why would a man want a woman who exhibits the same characteristics? A man would like a woman that's dainty, that's soft, right? That's a pleasure to be around, that's open, that loves to laugh, right? Is not into drama and conflict. And I'm not saying these are traits of an alpha male. What I'm saying is a man wants the opposite of him. If a man is aggressive, it's a man does show leadership and things of that nature. He wants the opposite. I'm not saying that women can't be leaders. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, who typically exhibits leadership traits? Men do. Now, is it some preference or prejudice to why people prefer men in leadership? Absolutely. But there's some biological ramifications to why men are preferred when it comes to leadership? Absolutely. You cannot separate nature and nurture. They coexist together, and they always have and always will. Okay. So, in this episode, what we're going to get into why there is not such thing as an alpha female, even though in the literature it talks about alpha female, but we're going to break down why that is the case. And I'm gonna make my case that no such thing as an alpha female. We really just want to, you know, make women feel good and say they're on the same level as men. Well, we wasn't meant to be equal. We were created for two different purposes. Now, once we get back into alignment and understand the purpose we were created for, it doesn't matter if you believe in God, Yahweh, or whatever, right? Our purposes are intact, regardless of what you believe in. Okay. So we're going to get into it. This is going to be a great episode, as they always are, of course. And without further ado, let's get into our first piece of evidence. All right. So this is my first piece of evidence. We're going to be talking about what alpha female is considered to be. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be going back and forth between what is an alpha female versus what an alpha male, because we have to compare and contrast to see what are the similarities and what are the differences. Okay. And to see, well, if it's the same traits that being exhibited, then that means that there's not an alpha female. It's just masculine traits. So we're going to parse that out. We're going to start with a article from a platform called Science of People. Never heard of it. First time using it. And the title of it is The Alpha Female 9 Ways You Can Tell Who is an Alpha Woman. Okay. I think this is going to be very interesting because, in my opinion, this is very subjective. I don't know how much research has really been done on the whole idea of alpha female, and even in that case, alpha male, right? But I think it's very subjective. But anywho, let's get into it and see what we can find. All right. The term alpha female is thrown around casually, but what does the science have to say? What is an alpha female? Here's the real definition of an alpha female based on the latest research. So it has been researched. Alpha female, a woman who has embraced her leadership ambitions. She is talented, highly motivated, and self-confident. I think you can be a confident person and talented and motivated person with leadership qualities without being considered alpha, in my opinion. Right? All right. Female alphas embrace their confidence, and this helps them lead others. And alpha females tend to believe her ability to achieve is limitless. Self-identify as alpha female, so you can just call yourself an alpha female and then you won. That don't make sense. Have a confidence that's contagious, which leads others to respect her as an equal. Showcase leadership characteristics, be recognized by others as being impactful, have extremely high ambitions. I'm assuming that fits a lot of people. Maybe it's just me. The term alpha actually comes from research on animal behavior, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us know that. Traditionally is used to designate the male animal that is the leader of the pack. Exactly. That's where the terms come from. I'm glad it pointed that out. These days, the term alpha has morphed. But the question is, who morphed it? They offer fearless leadership. In one study, defined the alpha female leadership measure. Research developed a 14-item questionnaire to measure that the alpha female personality, looked at qualities such as self-esteem, emotional intelligence, leadership, gender ideas, and extroversion. They found that alpha females embrace their leadership role and tendencies. No reluctant leaders here. Why does reluctance matter? A woman can be in a leadership role and not embrace it. This doesn't make her any more or less of a leader, but it does mark her as a non-alpha female. Sounds confusing. Look at the difference in these self-identified statements. A reluctant female leader might say, I'm not sure if I belong in this leadership role. Who is really saying that? I'm not a natural born leader. I'm not a natural born leader. I was a groomed leader. I don't know enough, earn enough, do enough to lead. Who is saying this stuff? A fearless alpha female might say, I know I can inspire others. I love being a leader. I know I can make a great impact on this world. So that makes you a non-alpha. You see why I say this is subjective? And it really doesn't make much sense. Many of the alpha females in the study describe a level of comfort and relative advantage in the role of an alpha female. In other words, they believe their alphaness works for them and they make it so. They possess high emotional intelligence. Research also found that alpha females have extremely high emotional intelligence, recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. Be aware that emotions can drive our behavior and impact people, positive and negative. I don't see how that's just a trait that's designated. I just don't get it. Because alpha female has such high emotional intelligence, they often serve as social lubricators and business mediators. All alpha females are able to bring social ease to a group. They tell jokes, they start conversations, they introduce people, they smooth over business disagreements and take charge. This is not distinctive of any other. Okay, let's keep reading. I'm sorry. They're obsessive learners. In the study called Leadership Influence of the Veteran Alpha Female, the researchers found that a common theme among veteran alpha female leaders was the importance of continuous learning. 100% of the female leaders involved in the study expressed appreciation for their ability to learn, to face challenges, learn from experience, or learn from others. 100% alpha female prioritize their learning. I think a lot of it is definitely how you grew up, who are your mentors, the environment you come from, the culture you come from, like, but that doesn't necessarily make you an alpha. They are strong. I was surprised when I discovered this quality listening to research. Of course, I knew alpha female had to be strong, but I didn't necessarily equate that with female toughness. One of the questionnaire asked alpha female if they agree with the following statement. I consider myself tough. I am stronger than most girls I know. I enjoy athletic. Do you see what is going on here? This, oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what else they say. They are sought out. Do people constantly ask your opinion? Are you the go-to person in your group of friends? Do you give advice? Researchers found that alpha females are often put in a position of mentorship, whether they like it or not. People seek their guidance. Or maybe you just someone that they feel is competent, that you give good advice, sound advice. Doesn't make you alpha. Makes you competent. They are highly ambitious. Now, this is definitely an alpha trait, which is why most female who are ambitious have to put their career in front, put having kids on the back burner, and then a lot of them tend to regret it later. I was very inspired while reading the studies on alpha female. Alpha female feel their ambition is limitless, that the bounds of their success do not exist, that they could achieve anything. How incredible. This doesn't mean that alphas had to go at it alone. In fact, quite the contrary. Many of the very alpha female leaders discuss an essential influential factor of having emotional support for others, and this external support didn't have to come from a traditional two-parent home or immediate family. It's funny that they're ambitious with jobs and careers that tend to be geared towards females, though. Why aren't they ambitious when it comes to building homes, infrastructure, buildings, masonry work? They lack ambition there, though. What an alpha. They love their moms. See, it's getting real disrespectful. They cultivate harmony, stretch. They have exceptional confidence. I give you that. All right, so that's is what they describe as a alpha female, folks. To me, a lot of it was a stretch. A lot of it was just a attempt to cover up very masculine traits, traits that we typically find in men that we consider alpha. And then they try to sprinkle in some things that's more feminine in nature, combined with some masculine traits to try to call it alpha, to try to create a category. That's what it appears like to me. Um, and so let's get into the second piece of evidence where we're going to describe what an alpha male is and see what the similarities and dissimilarities are. So let's do it. All right. So we're going to get into our second piece of evidence where we describe what an alpha male is. Okay. So we're going to see, I guarantee you're not going to see love their mommy and daddy. I guarantee you. So, this is from a platform called E Not Alone. Never heard of it. First time using it. It's called 10 Traits of an Alpha Male. Signs you can't ignore. Okay. So let's get into what is a alpha male. All right. When we think about an alpha male, the image that comes to our mind is something strong, confident, and at the top of the social hierarchy. They didn't mention hierarchy when it comes to alpha female. Did mention strong and confident. But it goes deeper than that. Being an alpha male isn't just about dominance or power. It's about a balanced combination of traits that others naturally gravitate towards. And I noticed they didn't mention dominance and power when it came to the alpha female. So, what truly defines someone as an alpha is not the loudest voice in the room, the guy who demands the most attention. True alpha male are leaders who inspire respect through their action, not fear. They have a presence that commands attention without needing to force it. Research shows that alpha males are not just born, they're made. I agree. Through experience, growth, and self awareness, anyone can cultivate these traits. As psychologist Daniel Goleman explained in his book, Emotional Intelligence, the ability to manage one's emotion and connect deeply with others is central to being a great leader. And that's the hallmark of alpha female. They did mention emotional intelligence, right? So we see some similar traits between an alpha male and what is considered alpha female. But the power and dominance never came up. I'm not going to read the common misconceptions about it. We're going to keep reading what makes someone an alpha male. Alpha males aren't born. They're built through a combination of self-awareness, emotional intelligence, personal growth, and not just about being the loudest and strongest in the room. They kind of already reiterated that. The true alpha knows his value and acts with integrity. Even when no one is watching, he balances ambition with empathy, power, and humility. I'm not sure integrity is really a trait of alpha. I think it's a trait that alpha males can definitely have, but I don't think all alphas are integral. I just don't believe that. They're just saying all. That's like just saying all Muslims don't eat pork, even though they're not supposed to. Okay. I think you get my drift. One key trait of alpha male is self-assurance. This means trusting yourself, your decision, not letting the opinions of others sway you unnecessarily. It doesn't mean never listen to feedback, but it does mean knowing your worth and standing firm in your beliefs. An alpha male leads by example, showcasing calm under pressure and never being afraid to admit when he's wrong. Alpha males stand out in many ways, but the key trait that defines them aren't always what people expect. Alpha characteristics are rooted in self-mastery and the ability to manage emotion effectively. Being assertive without being aggressive, having control over one's reaction, and staying grounded in difficult situations are hallmarks of the true alpha male, which a lot of this is addressing leadership qualities, which is the reason why the term alpha came into existence, because the animal, because the leader exhibit certain traits. One critical characteristic of alpha male is their ability to communicate effectively, whether in negotiated work, resolving conflict in relationships, or leading a team. They know how to speak clearly, listen intently, and understand different perspectives. This ability to engage without imposing creates respect and admiration for those around them. Alpha male also embody resilience. Life throws challenges at everyone, but the way they handle adversity is what sets them apart. Instead of backing down and letting failures define them, they learn, grow, and come together even stronger. This isn't about being invincible. It's about having the mindset to keep moving forward despite setbacks. And it's also based off, like, I think an alpha has a certain perspective, right? Like, if I fail, when I fail, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to get better, right? Everybody doesn't have that mentality. So I think that's definitely a mentality of an alpha male. Uh, say the science behind alpha male traits. We often wonder, are alpha males a product of their biology or their environment? The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Evolutionary psychology offers a fascinating perspective on the traits we associate with alpha males. Historical leaders who could protect and provide for their community were seen as more desirable traits we see a value in modern society. Absolutely. Typically, the men with, and a lot of times it's not just about money, but the men that exhibit certain leadership traits and assertive traits and things of that nature are typically the ones that women go after, right? Studies show that some of these traits may be linked to hormonal imbalances. Testosterone, for example, is often associated with dominance and assertiveness, but it's not the full picture. Research published in the we're gonna move past that. Let's see. 10 traits of an alpha male. He doesn't run for challenges. Alpha males confront obstacle head on. They understand that growth only happens outside of their comfort zone. Instead of shying away from tough situations, they thrive in them, always looking for ways to improve and push their limits. I agree. He knows his weaknesses. Absolutely. You must know your strengths and you must know your weaknesses. A true alpha male is humble enough to admit that he isn't perfect. He knows where his strengths lie, but also recognizes his weaknesses. And he will often keep people around him that can help with his weaknesses. Where he's weak at, he has someone that's strong at. Right? It's utilizing your team. He's emotionally intelligent. We kind of already covered that. He communicates effectively. We covered that. He embraces leadership roles. He is physically active. He set boundaries. Um, and what I would also like to say, standards, right? Like a lot of time women hate men with standards. Okay. They can have all the standards they want, but when men have standards, they see that as controlling. Have you ever heard that before? He's honest and transparent because he feel like he has no reason to lie. Okay. It is what it is. I'm gonna tell you this, and if you want to stay, stay. If not, cool. He values self-improvements. Absolutely. He supports his loved ones. All right. So those are characteristics of alpha male. And instead of the integrity, and I don't necessarily agree he supports his loved one, number 10. Now, can alpha male support his loved ones? Yes, but I don't think that's like a main thing. I think he can be a humanitarian, right? He can be someone that definitely wants to help others and see other prevail and improve. So I thought these were spot on. The biggest thing that differences that I really see is it really speaks big on leadership and dominance and power, also boundaries and honesty. Those were really biggest thing that I see was the discrepancy between what they consider an alpha female and what characteristics of an alpha male. All right. So we're not done because we're gonna keep digging. All right. We only scratching the surface of why I say there is no such thing as a alpha female. Okay. So let's go into our third piece of evidence. All right, so this is my third piece of evidence, and I must warn you, this is gonna be the most piece of evidence, excuse me, that I've used, but I found so much good information on it that I just couldn't help myself. Okay. I'm a nerd. What must I say? So we're going back to characteristics of what they consider an alpha female. So we're going to keep digging and see what similarities and dissimilarities that we find and what contradictions may pop up. Okay. So this is from a platform called Hack Spirit. Never heard of it. First time using it. And it's titled 18 Signs You're an Alpha Female. Most men find you intimidating. But it's funny that they would say that men find I never get why they say, or there's a group of women that say, "Oh, I'm too strong. You intimidated by me." It's not that men are intimidated. Men just find you unattractive because a man don't want to date a man. But let me not digress. Okay, so let's get into it. Uh, So here's another definition. Alpha female have the intrinsic traits of being competitive, controlling, and aggressive. Aggressive, you say. They're natural leaders, bringing out the best quality in people around them. Okay, so this one does talk about leadership. Female alphas embrace their natural leadership quality, and this helps them to lead others. And alpha female is likely to attract the attention of others, believe in her ability, self-identify as alpha. They keep saying this, so clearly this is in the research. Be ambitious, have an impact, be respected as an equal, show leadership qualities. Here's the 18 traits, and I won't go into depth. I'll just read them all for you. You don't go looking for attention, it goes looking for you. I don't understand why there is an alpha female quality. Doesn't make sense to me. Number 2, you encourage men to be their best selves. And that makes you alpha, huh? All right. You get what you want. From who? Please add context, right? I mean, if you're making the money to get what you want, that's one thing, right? But who are you getting it from is the real question. Every song about being an independent woman is basically about you. Really? You got your together and nobody questions that. I think that's called being an adult. Stress can't stop you. Yeah. I mean, I'm in agreement that stress comes in almost everything, right? And I don't let it stop me. Perspective, right? But being an adult, ain't nobody going to hold you down. Oh my God. All this is feminist sayings. I just have to point that out. You're the glue that binds you and your friends. Oh, you just a person that a lot of people like, and you know what I'm saying? You're the middle person. You're the mediator. I guess they should have put that in the what you call it. I don't know. You admit your mistakes. I almost cussed. Yeah, right. A woman apologizing? I ain't seen it. You don't put up with terrible people. Define terrible. You aren't intimidated by anything. You see my face? You show no fear. Come on. Really? You're tuned into your emotional intelligence, okay? They said that last time. You're always learning. They also mentioned that last time. You can hold your own in a room with men. Of course, that would be in there, right? If there's 1 or 2 women in a room mostly full with men, guess what they're thinking? And I'm not going to say it. You're too ambitious, according to some. I don't know what too ambitious means. Maybe because I'm an ambitious person myself. I don't know. You're a champion for your family. I mean, I think you could be a leader in your family and, not be an alpha woman. And last but not least, you're a force to be reckoned with. You go, girl. I don't know why that snap hurt. Maybe because it's cold, but once again, I think most of these, and when I say most, I'm talking about 16 out of 18 of them. Like, it's definitely a stretch. I don't get it, but they really trying hard to designate and say that there's a such thing as an alpha female, and I just think they went way over the top, right? I think true academians and researchers are really not taking this too serious. I could be wrong, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the studies that have been done on this have been done by women, because I don't think a lot of men are taking this too seriously. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Okay. So we're going to go into the 4th piece of evidence. And yes, we got more than 4 pieces of evidence to continue with proving why there's no such thing as an alpha female, as you can see with all this garbage. All right, let's get into it. All right, so we're going to my fourth piece of evidence. Once again, we're going back to what is considered to be an alpha male, from the same platform we did an alpha female called Science of People. And this is titled 20 Signs of a Respectable Alpha Male with Real Life Examples. I know this seems redundant, but trust your boy, follow your boy, stick with your boy. All right. So let's get into what these 20 signs are and see if they match up. Oh, let's see. What is an alpha male? An alpha male is a man who is highly intelligent, confident, and successful. Alpha males are generally considered great leaders and prefer to be in position of power. Common traits alpha male possess: being in a position of power, being comfortable with high levels of responsibility, being the most powerful, impressive, or successful person in the room, ability to draw people to them, and have high levels of influence. I would say we've seen these traits before, and I would say these are traits we could say consists of an alpha male. An alpha male mindset is being confident and comfortable with yourself, having self-control, staying in the moment, knowing you can handle anything. In 1000 BCE, the Greeks created their alphabet with the first letter being alpha. In the centuries that followed, the most dominant creature in a pack of wild animals, or supposedly more involved human, was alpha 2. Alpha males have higher stress. Alpha males have a certain mental attitude. Alpha male characteristics change due to society. Alpha males can be empathetic. I think that's something new. Um, Q1, they take responsibility. Q2, reassure and touch. Um, that's odd. I wasn't expecting that. But I guess. um, Claiming space. Um, yeah, I would say that has something to do with just making sure you're comfortable, and marking your territory. So that makes sense. Eye openness. People who are not confident or alpha might close up. They may block their chest with their arm or hold something close to it. Alphas, on the other hand, sit, stand, and walk openly. Oh, okay. They saying how they sit in their posture. Yeah, I guess. Invites others to participate. Use a variable tone of voice and volume. I just think those who are trained professionals do that. Um, Gaze more, especially at the end of the statement. I do think eye contact is a alpha trait, so I would agree with that. But because eye contact speaks to confidence, which so it makes sense. More hand gestures. I know I talk with my hands a lot. Perseverance, absolutely, definitely agree with that. Humility. I don't believe that alphas are too humble, to be honest with you. I think they like to talk about their accomplishments. Um, I'm not saying they don't have humility, but I think they like to let people know that they are successful. Self control, yes, for the most part, right? Let's see. Decision making, yes, very assertive and very to the point when it comes to decisions. Goal oriented, absolutely. Mental and physical strength. Yes, I know on the last one we talked about they like to work out. Definitely like to keep a good head on their shoulders. Congruent nodding. Alpha males signal others that they are very confident by aligning their nodding with their words. For example, they'll say yes or agree and nod their head as well. Likewise, if they disagree, you might see them shaking their head no. That's an odd one. That is a very odd one. Emotional stability, emotional intelligence. I like to say emotional maturity, conflict management skills, absolutely. Know how to articulate themselves. Um, Humor. I don't think that's just a trait of an alpha male though, because I'm sure some alpha males are not funny. Um, I'm not saying I'm an alpha male, but I'm hilarious, and a lot of these traits do fit me. So, but I don't like labels, so we can talk about that in another video. Empathy, maybe. So I believe that, to be fair, just like I was saying with, but I see a lot more with the description of what an alpha female is. I think some of those 20 were a stretch. I would say about 5 or 6. Most of them was pretty much on point, but so I think we got a pretty good designation of what is an alpha male, and then kind of what gleaming from what they consider alpha female. Now, for my last two pieces of evidence, we're gonna bring it on home. All right. Hey, let's get it. All right. So for my fifth piece of evidence, that's the very first time I've said that, because I've never had a video or a show where we did 5 pieces of evidence and actually we have 6. So now, so I found a article, um, a research article that's titled Masculinity, Femininity, and Leadership, taking a closer look at the alpha female. All right. So what I want to do, I want to just read the abstract to you. This article is 33 pages, but the abstract gives you a very good indication and idea of what the article is, a summation of kind of the key things that the article going to be talking about. So I think the abstract is perfect because it gets at the real reason why I want to read it to you in the first place. So let's go over this. So it says an extensive review and textual analysis of the academic and popular literature of the human alpha female was conducted to examine the social construction and expression of the alpha female identity in a small, non-random sample of North American women. Now, notice it said social construction of what we deem alpha female. I just wanted to point that out to you. This review revealed 2 predominant alpha female representation in the literature, one more masculine versus one more feminine. In 21 alpha female variables. In this sample of women, the alpha female was found to be a recognized, socially constructed female identity. Let me repeat that. In the sample of women, the alpha female was found to be a recognized, socially constructed female identity. And that's what I believe it is. The alpha female has been socially constructed to combat the notion of an alpha male. Let me keep reading. Univariate analysis revealed positive and highly significant differences in self-reported mean scores between alpha and non-alpha females for 10 variables, including masculine traits, leadership, strength, low introversion, self-esteem, life satisfaction, sexual experience, initiate sex, enjoy sex, and playing a dominant role in sexual encounters, with alpha females scoring higher than non-alphas. So on those masculine traits, the quote unquote alpha female score higher because they are based off masculine traits. Which what I'm saying is that there's no such thing as an alpha female. We're just talking about a masculine woman. That speaks to that. Okay. The measure of masculine traits will identify as the only predictor of alpha female status, as per multiple regression model. Interestingly, both alpha and non-alpha women scored the same on the measure of feminine traits. Further, both groups scored higher for feminine traits than masculine traits. The results also reveal that neither social dominance nor sexual dominance were predictive of alpha female status, which challenged academic and popular representation of this identity. We know for a man, what denotes an alpha is dominance. But in this study, that's not what they see, whether sexual or non-sexual. The results suggest that although the alpha female is often regarded as an exceptional and at times an exoticized form of femininity, like other femininities, Her identity is marked by contradictions and tensions. Okay. So I wanted to read that to you because that makes my case on there's no such thing as an alpha female. It's social construction. It's, to be honest with you, I just feel like it's part of this feminist ideology. So that's my fifth piece of evidence. And we're going to round it off with another research article, which would even further my case. All right. So let's get into that. All right, so for my sixth and final piece of evidence, yes, we're finally at the end. This is going to be one of my longer videos. We definitely probably going to hit an hour or just about an hour. But I appreciate you for hanging in there and rocking with me. All right. So to wrap things on up, I have an article from Evolution and Human Behavior. You know, I'm slick a psychologist, right? I just didn't go get the degree for it. And the title of this research article is Stereotypes versus Preferences, Revisiting the Role of Alpha Males in Leadership. All right. Once again, I just want to read the abstract to you. So it shouldn't be very long. All right. So why are women unrepresented in positions of leadership? According to the Think Manager, Think Male model, leaders are stereotyped as male and in turn as dominant. That once again, we see that word dominant, right? Typically, when we hear dominant or dominance, we think of men. Now, that could be prejudice, that can be bias. And I think that's kind of what this article is going to be touching on. And this stereotype translates into preferences. However, status and leadership can be attained not only by dominance, but also by prestige, a less sex type pathway. 5 studies explore the relationship between leader stereotypes and preferences. University students spontaneously imagine both dominant and prestigious leaders as men. And this generalizes across occupational domains. However, they prefer women and prestigious leaders over men and dominant leaders. Study 2 found this preference for female over male leaders using a large nationally representative U.S. sample from the Pew American Trends panel. Study 3 experimentally replicated the preference for prestigious female over dominant male leader candidates among university students. In study 4, online MTurk participants judged politicians from face photographs and again showed a preference for women, which may have partially been due to the inference that women are more likely to use prestige over dominance-based leadership strategies. Collectively, findings suggest that the belief that people prefer alpha male leaders, which might discourage women from pursuing leadership roles and others from nominating them, needs to be updated. Now, the reason why I want to end with that is because, yes, typically when we think of leadership, and just recently, I think as early as 1990, we saw the first female CEO, I believe. And typically we do think that a male leader is going to be more dominant, and is going to, which the study is saying that, well, some people don't prefer that aggressive, dominant alpha male. They actually prefer a female, right? And a lot of people think male, or maybe might prefer a male boss. But the whole idea of dominance is attached to men. In all of the pieces of evidence, it never said dominance when it comes to alpha female, right? So again, my position is that there's no such thing as an alpha female, right? It's socially constructed. It's made up. So the whole idea of equality has invaded so many different spaces. It's invading science. It's already invaded politics. Sports, the conversation. We keep having the same conversation when it comes to should men and women compete against each other, and like it's just ridiculous, right? So I believe that there is no reason for women to want to call themselves an alpha female, right? It turns most men off. So, but a lot of women, because they do want to be on a level playing field, want to call themselves alpha female because it means power, it means leadership, it means these different traits that we typically will say is masculine. All right. Fair or unfair, preference or bias or what have you, some of it's biological, some of it is social, but it's been like that for a very long time. All right. So um I believe that I made a pretty strong case. I don't know. You let me know. All right. Get in them comments. All right. So we're gonna end the episode right there. And once again, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. You already know the links are gonna be in the description. Um, please stay safe. There's a lot of things going on in the world weather-wise, so make sure you're reaching out and getting in contact with your loved ones. You stay where it's safest for you. And as always, I'm you, you are me, love always, love eternal. And I believe we just made that case, baby. All right. Deuces. One love.